similar to this, a 60-seat cinema where we hang a big sheet and we show films that are underrepresented, meaning you can go in any corner in this town and watch a 2-hour narrative starring Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, right? So we're showing anything except a 2-hour narrative. We show human rights films, short films, films in Spanish, gay and lesbian cinema. Whoever approaches us with an idea, we say, we're a resource, let's show the films here and let's talk about them. The unique model is also, it's not, I think the thing with the multiplex that is disheartening is we pay the $14, it's air conditioned, and we don't commune with our neighbors. We watch the film and we go home. So at the Film Center, we always have a dialogue afterwards. The majority of the time we encourage the filmmaker to come and present the work, which is wonderful. Having played in bands growing up, we kind of have stolen this DIY ethic where if you tour the country, we'll give you the money, all the money we make at the door, we'll feed you, and you'll sleep at my house on my couch, right? So it's really this all-encompassing, like treating the artist as someone important and disseminating this information. So if you have films, and once again, it's not a pitch, but it's more of like, hey, use our resources. Come to the center, show your work, learn how to make films. It's something I think you would all enjoy. And also we've created, it's a co-op, meaning, once again, if you need a camera, you need a tripod, you become a member, it's $30 a year, and you get access to all our equipment. So you can borrow that light kit you need, borrow these other things. And once again, finding a way that all of you in this room, can tell your stories. So that's the basis of the Film Center and the reason why I'm excited about it. And really politicizing a lot of our youth. Some of the examples of the films we've done, we made a film called Red Hill. If some of you that are lifelong Angelinos, you know that Echo Park was notorious in the 50s, was called Red Gulch or Red Hill, because it was a renowned haven for leftists and progressives. So what we did is we interviewed, it's kind of a funny term, the red diaper babies, which are the children of the initial kind of communists that lived in the era that are still alive now in their 60s, 70s. And they told stories of having to hide people in their home from the FBI, and mom, like, why was that guy always in our attic? And these stories that are so compelling, and using those stories, very real stories, to politicize our own children. So our own children, I sound like a surrogate father, which I feel like, but our own students. And they used that example of these early progressives to, once again, study issues of affordable housing, study issues of immigration, and politicize themselves where maybe they weren't already politicized. We just did a piece called This is the LA River, which, it's fascinating. If you ask a lot of Angelinos, where's the LA River? They don't know. You mean the big cement thing that kind of goes through the city? But talking about the origins of the LA River as where the Tongva and the Gabrielinos first settled. And then the original pueblo of Los Angeles was built around the river, and now sadly it is kind of this wash that no one has any passion for. So our students examining, talking to historians, talking to activists, looking at work, and once again politicizing themselves, and also making themselves aware of the importance of water rights and water in this city and access to that water. So many, many testimonials, many beautiful stories. So I thought the best way to kind of share these stories with you is I brought work that the students had made. So they're short films, each is about 5 or 6 minutes long, but I thought we'd watch 2 or 3 of them. I could talk a little bit about them, and then we can open it up to see how it affects you and to see how we can perpetuate this culture of peace through media literacy, through disseminating information, and through the work of our young people. So I think we'll shift to that. The first piece is called Dodger Blues, made by a student, Gabriel Perez, and we'll watch it now. So I'll just kind of move off the stage so you can watch the screen, so enjoy.
Swinging scene. Though Pisa has a tower that can lean. No matter where you've been or what you've seen, there is a place you gotta dig, I mean. Dodger Stadium. Dodger Stadium.
There once was a poor Mexican neighborhood just over the hills of Elysian Park. This area was called Chavez Ravine, but then it was destroyed. Today, very few people know exactly what Chavez Ravine was.
No, I have no idea.
Nope.
No. What was here?
Yeah.
It was just a ravine.
And
Like
was
a
there
swampland.
a swampland?
More or less, we would call it.
Chavez Ravine.
And what was that?
What was it?
Yeah.
There were houses.
Yeah, Chavez Ravine.
And what was that like?
It was just like a suburban residential area, I assume.
Chavez Ravine or Chavez Ravine.
You know what it was?
It was a Latino community.
I think before Dodger Stadium, this was part of Elysian Park, and there was a lot of sort of low-income housing that they sort of tore down and built the stadium up, and that's why sort of it all moved towards downtown, and then the same thing happened with Staples Center.
Go, get over here. Get over here.
Okay. You guys know what was here before Dodger Stadium?
Yeah, Chavez Ravine. Big old dirt patches, I remember, and people living on it.
Before Dodger Stadium was built in 1962, Chavez Ravine was a thriving community composed of 3 distinct neighborhoods: Bishop, Palo Verde, and La Loma. This area was home to family houses, schools, stores, and churches. The families who lived in Chavez Ravine were told an affordable housing complex would be built on the site and that the people who sold their homes to the city would get first pick when the new buildings were completed. Not only was the housing project never built, the people who sold their homes in good faith to the city were paid only half of what their property value was worth. Those who refused to sell were eventually evicted and their houses were destroyed.
What's coming to you? So if you're in trouble, there is nothing that you can do but get on your knees and pray, for there'll be the devil to play at that final curtain. You can be certain somebody's keeping score.
When the Dodgers chose the site for their new stadium, baseball fans were very excited. Many Los Angelinos saw Chavez Ravine as a dump or wasteland. True, it was a poor community, but they were a community who took care of each other, and Chavez Ravine was their home. To me, there is no greater experience than taking in a Dodger game. Whether I'm at my most comfortable seat in the house, or whether I'm screaming my lungs out to the point where I won't be able to talk the next day, I love to root for my team. When they are winning, I am full of adrenaline. When they're losing, I use that adrenaline to scream at the players. Come on, hustle! Oh, what are you doing? Don't swing at that! I can forget all my troubles even when I'm mad at the team. But Dodger Stadium's dark past troubles me. As much as I love the Dodgers, I can't but feel a little embarrassed to hear a former resident say, "I came back to the Ravine in 1997 and I feel like people were dancing on my grave." I can personally relate to what the resident was feeling. I had to leave Echo Park in 2002 when rents became too high for my family to afford. It was hard for me to leave the neighborhood and the team I grew up with. Of course, I still come back to visit, but it's not really the same. As gentrification continues to change Echo Park, I wonder what this neighborhood will become. As baseball seems more concerned with profits and less concerned with the fans, I wonder what the Dodgers will become. But no matter what happens, just like a rough season or what looks like a bad trade, I'm just going to have to ride it out and keep rooting for my team, which brings me so much joy and sorrow.
So I'm just gonna say a few words between each film. We'll watch them in a row. I mean, this film is interesting because, as it alludes to, Gabriel losing his home in Echo Park. These are similar issues that are going through Los Angeles, issues of affordable housing, how we continue to do that. And I mean, here we're in a place where we have such potential. This room has so much potential for change, but to politicize young people is not easy, right? To talk about issues of genocide and international relations when they're getting by just day to day. So using this as a catalyst, asking someone like Gabriel, he wore his Dodger shirt every day and loved the Dodgers, and just saying, Gabriel, do you know the history of Dodger Stadium? And he said, no, I don't. So then we sent him to the library, and he goes to the public library and he researches.